Before we dive into today's Commanders rumors, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to Commanders HQ, your home for real fan talk, deep dive analysis, and everything Washington football. Now let's get into two bold moves that could give this team the final push it needs to take the next step toward the Super Bowl in 2025. Let's start with defense, because if Dan Quinn's unit wants to dominate again this season, help off the edge is still a major need. The Commanders had one of the most aggressive offseasons in franchise history, trading for Deebo Samuel, landing All-Pro left tackle Laramie Tunsil, and bringing back respected vets like Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner. But as NFL.com's Jeffrey Shadihe pointed out this week, there's still a key piece missing: a proven edge rusher who can help finish games. Enter Matthew Judon. Yes, that Matthew Judon, the four-time Pro Bowler who spent last season with the Falcons. His numbers dropped to 5.5 sacks after dealing with injuries and a limited role in Atlanta's system. But don't get it twisted. Judon still has gas in the tank, and Washington could be the perfect place to reboot. According to Chadiha, the Commanders lost Dante Fowler Jr. back to Dallas, and GM Adam Peters didn't take a single edge rusher in the draft. That leaves a gap, and Judon, even at 33, checks a lot of boxes for this front office. Let's not forget, Peters has made it a habit of betting on smart, tough veterans with a chip on their shoulders. Just look at what Bobby Wagner brought to this locker room in 2024, or what Zach Ertz meant as a reliable target when it mattered most. Judon fits that mold. He's still got the burst, he's still a locker room presence, and in a rotational role under Dan Quinn. He could feast. Let's say the Commanders give him a one-year incentive-heavy deal. It keeps the cap flexible. It adds a proven pass rusher behind KJ Henry and Dorrance Armstrong. And it makes this defense a nightmare on third downs. You give Quinn another experienced chess piece up front, and suddenly, you're not just hoping for a sack. You're demanding one. Commanders fans, would you roll the dice on Judon? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget, this team is trying to win while Jayden Daniels is still on that rookie deal. These are the windows you push through. Now, let's flip to the offensive side of the ball, where another underrated move could be looming. Brian Robinson Jr. is still on the roster. Nick Chubb hasn't gotten a call. And that tells you everything about how Cliff Kingsbury wants to run this backfield. He's not looking for a bell cow. He's looking for variety, for versatility, for a committee, and Gus Edwards might be the final piece of that puzzle. Commanders fans remember James Conner from Kingsbury's days in Arizona, a bruising back who didn't get headlines but did the dirty work. He pounded defenses late in games. He punished defenses in the red zone. And in 2021, he scored 15 touchdowns, most of them inside the 20 sound familiar. That's exactly what Gus the Bus Edwards did for the Ravens in 2023. 13 touchdowns, all in the red zone. And just like Conner, Edwards thrived when paired with a dual-threat quarterback. Let me paint the picture. Austin Eckler and Jeremy McNichols handle passing downs. Rookie Jackery Krosky-Merritt brings upside as a change of pace. Back. But what happens on 3rd and 1? Or when you're protecting a fourth-quarter lead? That's where Gus Edwards earns his paycheck. He's not flashy. He's not going to break off 60-yarders, but he'll grind out the 5-yard runs that keep drives alive. He's averaged over 2 yards after contact per carry for most of his career. That's grit. That's power. That's exactly what this team lacked in short yardage situations last year. Plus, Edwards doesn't bring ego. He's used to splitting carries. Whether it was with J.K. Dobbins in Baltimore or Austin Eckler in L.A., he's never needed 20 touches. A game to stay effective. And Cliff Kingsbury knows how to use him. Just like with Conner, Kingsbury could rotate Edwards in to hammer defenses late in games, especially when Jayden Daniels starts gashing teams with his legs. Jayden isn't Lamar Jackson, but his style opens up the same kinds of lanes. And if you pair him with a punishing power back like Edwards, defenses are going to have to make some brutal decisions at the line of scrimmage. Do we stop the quarterback draw? Or brace for impact from Gus Bus? This isn't about highlight plays. It's about situational football. And Edwards could be the difference between settling for field goals or finishing drives. Let's take a step back. What do both of these moves, Judon on defense, Edwards on offense, really say about where Washington is heading? They say Super Bowl or bust. Adam Peters isn't trying to rebuild. He's reloading. And he's doing it with veterans who know how to win, who don't need the spotlight, and who raise the floor of your team instantly. It's easy to overlook these kinds of signings. But last year, no one was hyped about Bobby Wagner or Zach Ertz. And look how they delivered when it mattered. Judon and Edwards may not be Pro Bowlers in 2025, but if one of them makes the key sack in the NFC divisional round, or if the other punches in a 4th and goal touchdown in the wild card game, that's how championships are built. The Commanders don't need stars at every position. They need closers, finishers, grown men who know how to take over a drive or end one. And with Jayden Daniels still growing, what better way to support your young QB than to surround him with battle-tested vets? When the Commanders were on the clock at pick number 61, not many fans expected to hear the name Trey Amos, but insiders knew. This wasn't just a smart pick, it was a steal. Amos, the long, athletic, pressman corner from Ole Miss, was projected by several draft experts as a top 40 pick. Some even floated his name as a late first-round riser after a strong showing at the Reese's Senior Bowl and a solid NFL Combine performance. So why was he still on the board nearly 2 full rounds into the draft? That's the million-dollar question. And we've got the inside answer. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Trey Amos slid not because of talent or tape, but because of a mild medical flag. Fowler reports that multiple teams discovered a back injury during the pre-draft process. Now, let's be clear. It wasn't a red alert type of issue, but it was enough to make a few front offices nervous. Here's what Fowler wrote. Washington got a plus starter with second-round defensive back Trey Amos, who has size, speed, and instincts. Selecting him at number 61 was considered great value. One aspect that might have hurt his value slightly. Multiple teams discovered a back injury in the pre-draft process. Not a major red flag, but a mild concern that probably caused him to slide. Let's pause here for a second. This is a classic case of teams overthinking the process. Amos showed no limitations at the Senior Bowl, performed well at the Combine, and had no issues at his pro day. So if he was injured, he certainly wasn't playing like it. The Commanders didn't panic. They trusted the tape. They trusted their medical team. And once again, Adam Peters proved why he's quickly becoming one of the most respected GMs in football. Now let's talk about fit, because scheme fit is just as important as raw talent, maybe even more. Amos is a pressman specialist. He's long, 6'1", physical, has great hips, and isn't afraid to get up in a receiver's face. That's exactly what Dan Quinn wants in his corners. And let's not forget, Quinn has a long history of turning athletic corners into playmakers. Think about Richard Sherman in Seattle, or Trevin Diggs in Dallas. Amos might not be an immediate CB1, but he won't need to be. The Commanders already have Benjamin St-Juste and Emmanuel Forbes. What they lacked was a corner who could truly bully, receivers at the line, and hold his own on the boundary. That's Trey Amos in a nutshell. This pick isn't just about depth, it's about identity. Washington's defense under Quinn will be aggressive. It'll be physical. And Amos checks every single box. According to sources close to the team, there was no hesitation in the Commanders' war room when Amos was still on the board at 61. In fact, some in the building were shocked he made it that far. One Commander scout reportedly said, "This guy's a dog. He plays like he's got something to prove. And now he really will." Everyone passed on him. That chip on his shoulder? It's massive. Head coach Dan Quinn was also seen smiling wide in the draft room during the selection. That's not just coach speak. That's a guy who knows he's getting a toy tailor-made for his defense. And for a second-round pick, Amos brings first-round swagger. That matters. You want guys who aren't just talented? You want guys who are hungry. Amos has something to prove, and Washington is giving him the perfect stage to do it. If Amos hits, and all signs point to that happening, This could become another classic tale of teams getting too cute during the draft process. Remember how the Bengals landed Geno Atkins in the 4th round because of supposed durability concerns? Or how Micah Parsons' character questions caused him to fall to Dallas? The NFL has seen this before. Teams hesitate, others capitalize. It's about trusting your evaluation. That's exactly what Adam Peters did here. And let's be honest, this Commander staff isn't afraid to roll the dice on talent if the upside is worth it. Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner, Laramie Tunsil, and now Trey Amos. These guys are part of a very clear identity. Experienced, physical, high IQ football players who bring edge to the locker room. So, Commanders fans, here's the question. Would you sign Matthew Judon to anchor the pass rush opposite Dorrance Armstrong? Would you bring in Gus Edwards to be your red zone bruiser next to Jadon Daniels? Or do you think the team already has enough? Drop your takes in the comments. I read every one of them. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to Commanders HQ, and share this video with your fellow fans. We've got a big season ahead. Let's build it together, one move at a time. Until next time, hail to the Commanders.